afterwards, I would like just to remind my, let's say, my main teachers in calligraphy. And the first one is Chögyal Namkhai Norbu. Why? Because many people of us, many people of the Dzogchen community, they have in their own house a calligraphy for Chögyal Namkhai Norbu. Can be in Ucheng, can be in Ume, can be in Mongolian script. And so that's a living example of how to diffuse the teaching through symbols, through graphema, you know. So the beginning of my study of Tibetan Buddhism, I saw the booklet prepared by him in this beautiful calligraphy, and that gave me inspiration in to develop and to start working on it. You know, so my first master, it was not literally master, but my first inspiration was Chögyal Namkhai Norbu. I have to say this, you know, it is a must. Then I have to thank Tashi Manox. Tashi Manox taught me how to use the pen, how to use the brush and the pen in a systematic way, with a touch of artistic appeal and with skills. And then last but not least, Fabian Sanders, who is my professor of Tibetan classic. And it is important to know a little bit of Tibetan, because when you write Tibetan, not just sig letters, but when you write Tibetan, it's necessary to know what you are writing, you know, and to write in a proper way, and to know the meaning. So thanks to three people, you know, all the works came out. And we do not have a long time, so I would like to present this project that is linked to the production of prints of many of these works that will be available through the Shang Shung USA bookstore from today. You know, so everybody is invited to see them and to see the works, and if they like them, to buy them. This is for helping, obviously, the Dzogchen community of American Dzogchen community, you know. Before I would like to start presenting three works connected with Tara, with Tara Presi, the goddess Tara. Since we are living a very delicate political moment, I think it's necessary to remind her practice and to stay in touch with her blessing. And the first work that I would like to present is the work that I donated to the Tsegyalgar for fundraising, and this work will be available at the due time in the next future. You know, you just stay in touch with the Ganchil of Tsegyalgar. What's this work? This work is a simple representation of the short practice of Green Tara, and there is I think, yeah, that I can show. There is the main seed letter Tam in green, you can see. Then obviously on the top there is the white letter A, reminding us the Guru Yoga and the union with all the master and all the masters. So at the bottom I painted a long cell symbol, because this, even if the Tara practice is not connected with the long cell teaching, but this Tara, particular Tara, comes from the transmission given by Chögyal Namkhai Norbu. So the long cell is representing his legacy. When you see the long cell on my painting, that means that painting is being influenced, is being, you know, taught by Chögyal Namkhai Norbu. So you can see the letter Tam, the letter A, the same symbol with the 5 main principal color, and then the 2 main mantra, Om Tare Tam Svaha, and the general mantra of Tara, Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Svaha. This has been painted on a special paper, Siena paper, And this botte effect is produced by hand, putting this sheet of paper inside the liquid tank and then putting up, and the color is absorbed by the paper. So this is the essential green Tara practice, and this work is will be available for the people who love it in the future. Thanks. We have to be short because we have many things to present, many words to present. Down at the bottom, on the lower right, you can see my seals with my signature. And usually I put also the place where I finished the job and the work. Thanks, Fabio. So we keep on talking about Tara because we will present 3 works about Tara. Now it comes a more elaborated work is the practice of Tara. Practice of Tara that you can find in this book published by Shang Shung Publication. And you see, you know, no. This is the one book published by the Shang Shung Publication, and there is contains the practice of Tara as depicted in this painting. Okay, the painting is represent the more elaborated practice. You can there is 3 invocation and 3 main mantras, and the syllable A with the 5 colors emanated, remembering the Trondu, the Guru Yoga, and then you know the sun and the star and the moon representing the solar lunar energy and the planisphere, the hemisphere, the stars, our universe. So we start from the letter Tam in golden letter, big Uchen in Uchen. Then there is on the general mantra of Tara, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Svaha. The second mantra with green Tara, Om Tare Tam Svaha. And then here you can see around the flower in white color the mantra of long life of white Tara. On golden color, acrylic color, on this bamboo paper, there are written 3 invocations. The general one on Jetsuma Pema Drolma, Chögyal Namkhai comes from the Gontero of Rinpoche, from the vision of Rinpoche, from Rinpoche. Then there is the second invocation, Jetsuma Pema Drolma, Chögyal and so on. That it comes from Atisha, the famous master Atisha, that Rinpoche inserted this invocation in our practice. And then there is the final one, final invocation that represents the kind of empowerment invocation for obtaining long life and wealth and all good things. And that comes from the sutra. It is quoted is an excerpt taken from the sutra. So we, in a few words and in a few images, we have the practice of green Tara according to the teaching given by Chögyal Namkhai Norbu. Thanks. I think is enough because we have many works. This is a very particular because the bamboo paper, green leaves symbolizing the air element and the fast way that Tara gets into action when we invoke her. Of this work, we produced a print, a limited edition, printed and signed by me, by the artist, and you can purchase from the Shang Shung bookstore, obviously. Now we are passing to the third. Sorry, go Fabio. Now we have the last work dedicated to the goddess Tara, and it is original work is this one. Is, you can see, is the shortest, the shortest version of Tara practice. There is the Tara, the Tam, syllable Tam, green one. Then there is 3 mantra, Om Tare Tam Svaha, the general mantra, Om Tare Tutare Ture Svaha, and the invocation, Tare 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 Tare, that is like a mantra, means invocation, means calling from afar, calling Tara, you know. And this work has been done, the original has been done in Dzamlingar. Dzamlingar is a kind of heaven. There is a beautiful garden. I was inspired by all the flowers that you can see, that you can find in Dzamlingar. And so I painted the Tam syllable among 2 roses. 2 roses. And for completing the work, I put the sun and the moon, the stars, the Ursa Maggiore. How do you say English, Ursa Maggiore?
Ursa Major. Ursa Major.
Ursa Major, the Ursa Major constellation. So the work is this is available too as a print by the bookshop. Here down below on the right, you can see the seal. One in Papa language with my surname, the other one in Chen. The seal has been created by Tashimano, and the date of the work, and my signature, and the number of the print. So I think it's okay. Now we can jump to the other work. This other work is being inspired by the Stairway to Liberation. Sorry, I do not have the original book with me, but is the book has been published recently by the Shang Shung publication, a new edition, revised edition, and you can find in this book a table, you know, a page with all seed letters, useful for the Nundro practice who must be done in the Dzogchen community, according to Chögyal Namkhai Norbu. And here you can find three seed letters, let's say 5, 6 letters. There is the A of the Guru Yoga, white A, just above a flower. There is the Om connected with our 3 gates, body, voice, and mind. And the letter Ham that is connected also with the Kala Chakra Tantra, the father aspect of Kala Chakra Tantra, you can see in his main mantra. And for concluding, you know, I wanted to connect this work with Rinpoche. I put the usual long cell, emanated, you know, jewels, many different colors, go and flowering, no? Just below the letter A. The work is completed with sun and moon, stars, and a small stupa. This stupa, short 10, represents the Chamchu stupa, where the body of our loving master is conserved in Merigar. And so this is represented the enlightenment stupa. And I painted a small bird bringing the ambrosia of immortality, a myrta, the essence of immortality. So this is a work connected with the book, The Stairway to Liberation. You know, it can be a useful support for the practice of the people who are practicing the teaching given by Chögyal Namkhai Norbu. I think is enough for this work. Also, this one has been printed in a few copies and is available. So now we are going to a much more complex work. And this is, I would say, is a quintessence of the Dzogchen teaching, as given by Chögyal Namkhai Norbu. And what is it? Is the Song of the Vajra. Song of the Vajra is quite a well-known practice, main mantra diffused in the international Dzogchen community. So I like to paint the Sangha of the Vajra many times, and I did this work on a special Japanese paper. You can see here, Dorjelu means Sangha of the Vajra. Then, quite amazed by the power of this song, I wrote Emao, marvelous. And then the title is on the left, is connected with the long-self symbol of Rinpoche, because everything, this particular Sangha of the Vajra comes from him. And on the right, by the letter A, white letter A, in a tigle, in a sphere of 5 colors. So in this, let's say, landscape of sea and sunset, sun, color, golden color, yellow, orange. I wrote a Sangha of the Vajra in a vertical way, starting from the left, like the Chinese language, and like Mongolian to the right. And the quartine, every line, it is a quartine, Ema Kiri Kiri, Mastavali Bali, Samita Suru Suru, Kutali Masu Masu. This is the first quartine, second quartine, and so on until the end, Ra, 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 who represents Dharmakaya, Samakaya, and Manakaya, you know. So on the top, with golden letter Uchen, is written the Ema Kiri Kiri song as transmitted by Rinpoche. I would like to show, to let you see this book by Rinpoche with the Song of the Vajra. You can see here, Ema Kiri Kiri, and the Tibetan letter, Dorjelu, like here, you know. In between, just down below, in a whitish color, there is the explanation of the Sangha of the Vajra that you can see in this book, always published by Shang Shung, you know, that it says, it describes the path connected with each and every quartine, starting from the 4 yoga to the triche to the togel, and so on, and toward the total liberation. So you can see these words are taken from the explanation also given of the Sangha of the Vajra in the book, The Dance of the Vajra. You can see I didn't invent anything. I just take out from the explanation given by Rinpoche for each and every line of the song, and I copied the meaning of the line above. Okay. Everybody knows the Sangha of the Vajra is in Dakini language. And it's not a proper Tibetan language, but it is this famous sacred Dakini language. In Tibetan, down below, I wrote the translation of the Sangha of the Vajra, the philological translation of the Sangha of the Vajra in Tibetan language. And you can find this explanation in this book, you know, Unborn and so on, the Sangha of the Vajra. This is written in Tibetan Uchen. So then, for completing the work, I added the 6 letters, Ahaha, Sha, Sama, and so it's like the Vajra dance, what we do during the Vajra dance, and then the Om, Aum letters with the meaning near to each and every letters. So the Om, they represent the Trikaya, Dharmakaya, Samakaya, Nirmanakaya. So starting from the shortest mantra, letter A, through Om Aum, through Ahahasha Sama, and completing the work with the long mantra, the Sangha of the Vajra. This is, so it's a kind of milestone of all the essence of the Dzogchen teaching given to us by Chögyal Namkhai Norbu. I added the long self teaching, yeah, the long self symbol complete. This one is the partial, this is the complete one. My seals and another invocation to the master. The work is completed by many tile and vibrating little color cells of small jewels vibrating, giving a sense of movement to all the work. I think it's the explanation for the time being is okay with this work. Thank you for your patience. I know it can be boring to follow, but I just would like to say that I pay a lot of attention when I write. So and so I try not to make mistakes and in grammatical mistake. And this is important. Then we have the final work, right? Yeah, this one is this is the Prajnaparamita of a single letters. This is a quite ambitious work, and I wanted to do it because I used many sources for explaining the importance of the letter A. I started, so you can see the letter A here in the middle, white color, many points of many different color, the letter Omaum, and then the letter A, and then Jakar Kadu, and then the sutra, the Prajnaparamita, belong to the Mahayana text, is the Mahayana text, is a sutra explaining the importance of the meaning of the letter A. And I wrote the complete sutra. You know, there is Prajnaparamita 100 verses, 8,000 verses, I think, 100,000 verses. And this is the shortest one that Buddha taught. And I wrote this sutra in golden letter in Ucheng in a clockwise spiral, you know, until here. Then I emphasize the A with inside the tile, and then I added in between the lines, I added A of different colors all around for giving a nice aesthetical effect. You can see down below this mandala created using the sutra, you know, the letter A in Sanskrit, Devanagari, on the top of the lotus, the letter A another on another lotus in Siddham script. Siddham script has been used in Tibet, but also in Japan, among the practitioners of the Shingon school. And then they meditate fixing on the letter A in this way. Then I wanted to use also another text that comes from Tantra. And here it's the Manjushri Tantra, Manjushri Namasangiti Tantra. I wrote here Le from the Jampel Jamjue, from the chanting the name of Manjushri. I wrote a line that emphasized the importance of the letter A, you know. And so this is Sutra, this is Tantra, two different traditions always talking about the importance of this primordial sound from which all the mantras are arising, you know. Then I wanted to add also one quotation that I found in the new book of Rinpoche, printed by the Shang Shung publication. I have a black and white, you know, photocopy, but you can buy from the Shang Shung directly from the bookstore in Merigar, Necklace of Jewels. The necklace of, in the Necklace of Jewels, this work just been translated by Adriano and Enrico and Jacobella in the 30 years ago, 40 years ago, has just been published. And here in this book, you can find a quotation who talks about the importance of the letter A. And so, and it says, you know, I have a translation in English of it, you know, A is the empty essence. Then the nature of A is clarity. and then the potentiality of A is unceasing, you know. So here I put a text belonging to the Dzogchen tradition, explaining in Dzogchen terms the importance of the letter A. Then I wanted also to add another text that is the general, from the general law of existence, that is a Bon text, who talks about the letter A. So what was my aim? My aim is to represent the importance of the letter A using Sutra text, Tantra text, and Dzogchen text. I'm quite satisfied of this work because it came out quite, it's lovely to see, full of colors and inspirations. This is, here there is, I wrote Chögyal Namkhai Norbu, Lanamo, I pay homage to Chögyal Namkhai Norbu, and I put my seals, the name, and I added because I like very much the monogram connected with the Tantra or Kala Chakra. I think it's okay for the time being. So I think we presented, also this work is available in a bigger print, 17 by 21 inches, I think. And maybe you can bring me one, I don't know. I want to show the original print, the copy, the print that we did from the original, because the quality of these prints are really exceptional. Very, 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 it's like having the original one. And I would like to present at least one of this copy for having an idea that of showing the care that we put for producing a quality piece. This is, okay, thank you, Fabio. This is the original, and this is the copy, the print that we did of the original, signed by me and with the number of the copy. This one has been produced in 10 copies, not hundreds and hundreds of copies. So it's very limited edition, and I would suggest to buy it because 10 copies are not so many, you know. Have a look to the quality of the print. Thank you for your attention and patience. So I think we presented, half an hour has been passed, we presented all the work that I repeat are available to buy through the Shang Shung bookstore, and you can also contact me. And now I'm free to give further explanation or to answer to your question if you have any question. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Giorgio. It was wonderful and just amazing work. We're so fortunate to have you with us today. If you do have a question, please unmute yourselves. And also just another plug for the Shang Shung bookstore. Helena has put the link in the chat. And as Giorgio just said, there are not very many copies. So if you're interested, we would encourage you to go to the bookstore online and purchase them as soon as you can. So anybody like to ask a question?
Yes.
From Natalie.
So Natalie has a question in the chat, Giorgio.
Yes.
Which I just lost.
Why did you put the constellation of Ursa Major, L'Orsa Maggiore in
because I first because it's major, so it's not minor, and then because I couldn't put all the stars of the universe, so I had to choose, you know, so I choose the Orsa Maggiore. In another painting I put the Pleiades, you know, but I choose the Orsa Maggiore. Then are 7 stars. so it was also because usually they say that the Dzogchen teaching is diffusing in 13th solar system, and I started to put seven stars. So it's a choice, an artistic choice. I wanted to represent the dimension of the universe, and I choose the Orsa Maggiore. I think Natalie, it's we have to choose sometimes the shortest symbol. I couldn't put 100,000 stars, and I choose to put 7.
Natalie says thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. What else question? All the works are made with acrylic, good acrylic one, and I use mixed technique usually. I use what I have, what I found at the moment where I am, you know, but usually I use acrylic. In the future, I would like to use pure gold for certain works, because pure gold is important, you know. But in this case, it's not easy to use pure gold, because you have to mix with water, hot water. It becomes quite complicated and expensive. So I choose the cheaper, but still good acrylic color gold, white. But usually I buy them in London or in artistic shops, you know, Bell'Arti shops.
Another question from Claire: for writing, do you use brush or pen?
Both, but usually with acrylic color both, but I prefer to use for long for the Song of the Vajra, for example. There is many letters. I use pen that I can tell here. Anyway, nibs, pen with nibs. For also for ink are good. Not easy to find, but it's the best. Some for big letters, sometimes I use brush, flat brush, Japanese or Chinese brush. But for small letter, I prefer to use pen.
Please feel free to unmute yourselves and ask a question directly to Giorgio.
Giorgio?
Yes.
Hi, this is Mary. I was wondering if you had studied like traditional Tibetan calligraphy, and if how that might have inspired or informed your work.
Yes, I use handbook published. That first I learned, I did a few seminars with Tashi Marnox. That's I would recommend. But then beside following a course who lasts just 2 days or 3 or 4, I trained myself copying handwritten calligraphy from ancient masters, from masters of the past. For example, Dzogchen Rinpoche had a beautiful handwriting. So I used to take the original photocopy of his writing and copy each and every day. And just copy many times, starting from the original font, better handwriting than not printed font. And then copy several different times. You acquire the skill and the capacity to write with quite in a fluent way Tibetan, at least Tibetan Uchen letters. Then I used also manual handbook that you can find in Nepal, you can find in India, you can find in Tibet, China. And handbook that are teaching us how to write with the proper dimension, with a certain modulo inside a square or a double square, the letter. We know, for example, the letter A, you write the letter A in a square, and the letter A fill it up the complete square, you know, and there is a perfect balancing between void and color. So when you when you balance well the letter with the ink and the empty space, that comes out the beauty of the letters. This is for a short letter like A, like Sa. For the long letter like Hum or composed letter, seed letter, you need at least two square. So a double modular. You say modular in English? I don't know. So in the beginning, it's better to learn precise how to make the strokes and the sequence of the strokes. And you can learn this using handbook manual. You can find in commerce or especially in India, Nepal, and Tibet, and then from a qualified teachers. But my suggestion is to copy, to take original handwriting and to copy that original writing from antique text, because let's not forget that all the masters, they were also good calligrapher. Being a master according to the Tibetan Buddhist tradition means also to be a good calligrapher, starting from early age.
Thank you.
Thank you to you.
There is another question in the chat. How long does it take for the artwork to be completed?
It depends from the complexity of the work. You cannot work continuously. You cannot work 8 hours per day because the eyes are tired and then you lose concentration. Let's say that good work can take from 1 week to 1 month. Even certain complex works takes several different months. It depends, because if people ask me to make with a brush a simple letter A, if you have paper, ink, and brush, in 5 minutes you can paint the letter A. But if you ask to write the 7 verses of Guru Rinpoche, it takes half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours. It depends from the dimension, from the quality of the color of the paper, and so on. So it's connected with the complexity of the work that you are doing. If you have to write the Heart Sutra, there are many verses. It takes a long time. If you have to write, for example, the Dorje Sempa Nam Tache are 55 quartine, you know, and it's necessary at least 1 month.
And this is just for the calligraphy, not for the...
It's just for the calligraphy. Then there is the decorative aspect of the work. And so it takes more time. So it depends from the request of the customer. It depends from the time, and depends from the mood of the calligrapher. It depends on what you want to obtain. But in any case, calligraphy must be a nice calligraphy, must be done in a better way, in a good way. So it's better, do not produce too much, but do it in a proper way. If you don't like it, tear us apart, burn it, throw away, and start a new job. It's better to do, because beauty helps to obtain a peaceful state of mind, you know. And so it depends from the length of the work, how many words you are painting, and which kind of transmission you want to give. Just a simple text or a text mixed with art, painting, decorative symbols. That's typical of the Chinese and Japanese and also Tibetan tradition.
Giorgio?
Yes.
This is Andrea. Thank you very much for hosting this and showing us your lovely work. I'm trained in traditional Tibetan iconography, and in my own art practice, I've moved towards some not quite this. I'm not this talented, but but the idea is the same, and I find in your work such great beauty and such great openness. I wonder if you could explain to us a little bit the process that you go through as you paint. You know, because in traditional iconography, you can get very wrapped up in the dimensions and the, you know, the representation being a certain way. And this is your approach is extremely different and very appealing to me. Please share.
If I have understood well your question, I'm a Western calligrapher, so I'm influenced by our tradition and not just the Tibetan tradition. So when I do my calligraphy, I'm inspired. I let my inspiration come out having knowledge of what has been done in the Middle Age in our tradition, and I refer to the miniature, illumination done in the Middle Age of the Bible, of this kind of religious text. But also I'm inspired by modern Tibetan painter like Dubu Chögyal, or these great masters. They create artistic work and calligraphy work going out from the strict rules of a tanka, for example. These are the protagonists. These are the people that they create a new way of painting. So when I think about artworks and calligraphy works, my mind goes back to painters like Choin Dorje, for example, the 10th Karmapa, who produced beautiful works of calligraphy and also of icons, deities, goddesses, mixing both, giving a spiritual message, but mixing the technique, using different technique and using image, human image, animal image, vegetable from the vegetable realm image, and calligraphy mix too, using the influence, keeping in mind what the artists of the past they did in the past, starting from let's say from the beginning of the religious art, Chinese Gandhara or Indian art. So when I do my work, I do keeping in mind this example. Then technically what I do is I want to do an technically I start, I do not have a precise plan. I start from the 6 syllables or I start from the main invocation, then I write a main invocation, and then starting from and then the decoration, I'm not planning the decoration. The decoration come out according to how the works grows, how the work is balanced. I can give I don't know if I can give an example. Usually I do not have a template. I do not have a project before. I have an idea of what I want to write, and from that idea, then I develop the decoration and the symbols that I'm going to paint or to write on the paper or on the canvas or on the wood. And also I use many, I do not use just paper, but I use also wood, pillars, many elements, many different products, So let's say that people ask me to write the 7 verses. I write the 7 verses. For example, I can write the 7 verses of the Sangha de Vajra following the shape of a stupa, inside the external shape of a stupa, you know. So when I think about how to write, first, before starting to write, I have to decide that I want to write all these verses inside the stupa. So I draw a stupa either before or even after, but considering the plastic evolution of the work. Have been clear? I don't know if I've been. I do not follow the strict rules that the Tanka painter use, both in the Karmagadri tradition or other tradition. I'm more like a free. But what I care above all is the final work must be philological correct and without mistakes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to you.
There is also a question in the chat. Do you have a reference book for calligraphy? Like a specific
by memory, there is good and bad work, you know, today published. I think that it's better. I do not, since our Tibetan usually are published by Tibetan publishing house. It's better to send me an email. I can send the title of the books to me. So better to send an email. I will send you the title of the books available. There actually is not easy to find this text because just produced and printed in India, Nepal, and Tibet. It is not easy to find. I have the book upstairs. Maybe if
you can send an email.
If you can send him an email, I can. For example, it came out a fantastic book published in Villacupe with more than 100 different calligraphy styles of Tibetan languages. Because, you know, there is Uchen and Ume, and there is the Kyuig, shorthand writing. So I'm more specialized in Uchen because usually the root texts are written in Uchen, but the commentaries are written in beautiful Ume. And then, you know, and also there are many kind of Ume, so different cursive calligraphy, and it takes a lot of time to learn. There are publications are not easy to find, but you can find this publication. That in this publication, they show exactly the sequence of the strokes and the diagram, and the scheme on which you have to write precisely a letter. Usually, a letter must be written according to the width of the nib. So, according to the width of the nib, you trace, you do 7 times the width of the nib in this way, and 7 times in the vertical way, and 7 times in the horizontal way, and you find the two sides of the square. Inside the square, you can write the letter. So the height of the letter is given by the width of the nib. I don't know if I've been clear, but anyway, in any case, you can find these books. You can send an email to me or also to Margherita, the librarian who is taking care of the library in Merigar. She can suggest you many titles that we have at the library in Merigar. I do not have by memory the title because the title are in Tibetan, you know, so it's not easy to remind. I don't have with me these books. Please just send me an email, you know, or send a message to Margherita, the librarian of Merigar, and she can suggest you which handbook use for learning how to write in a proper Dzogchen, the Tibetan language. There has been published one by the Wisdom, but let's say years ago, but the quality of the font is not exceptional. I cannot. The result is not so good. Better to use traditional Tibetan handbook manual.
Margherita Panza.
Yeah. That I would say, you know, this for me, it's important. The living heritage of Chögyal Namkhai Norbu must remain, must develop, must grow, and everybody must work in a way to contribute to his legacy. And everybody can contribute in some way, or either in artistic way or in another way. You know, the legacy of Rinpoche is so big that passing through art, through dance, to kite art, to the study of Santiva Sanda and so on. Everybody must collaborate and do something in a way that his legacy remain alive for the future, I think. And I think this is the responsibility of each and every old student. Life is short, you know. Better to do something before we go in another dimension.
Thank you, Giorgio. It's so great that it's Lori that we're able to buy these pieces, because you know the originals are quite expensive, and it's really nice to be able to have a copy.
Thank
and
you, Ahmed. Yeah, thank you.
Really good,
thank you to you.
Really good quality. Yeah.
I think also the Ganchila accepted my suggestion, you know, and they were really willingly to collaborate, because I wanted to do things connected with the community, you know, because this is important. This is of course you can find any thumb letters in the market, you know, many things in the common market, in the market among many different centers. But I think to work connected with the teaching of Rinpoche is important. And obviously, secret practices, wrathful practices must be just be painted and diffused among the people who has been received transmission or been in contact with the Rinpoche, you know. But the general practices, Tara practices, is common to all of the Buddhist world. So there is no problem also for the transmission and this kind of samaya, you know.
I have a question. If you purchase one of the expensive, the large complicated ones with for instance, the Prajnaparamita one,
Yeah.
Will there be an explanation, like a sheet?
Yeah. For example, I have this is maybe can you see this? I don't know.
No,
Can you see this?
not really.
Puoi far vedere. I draw as a scheme, magari farò vedere tu, as a scheme,
Yes.
the translation of what I wrote in the Prajnaparamita, because it's very difficult. So I after I did the job in Tibetan, I took a leaflet, a page, and I wrote the translation of exactly the word that I've written, translating into English. So what does it mean? It means if somebody wants to have the translation, proper translation of the Sutra of a single letter, of the quotation from the Manjushra Sangiti, of the quotation from the Long Cell Barna, of the quotation from the General Dove Existence, you can find, I can send this.
Email.
Yeah. Also, the Shang Shung bookstore can send it. We will give to the Shang Shung bookstore, or you contact Anna Bartenstein. She has the copy of the translation of the most complex. Because it's important to know what's written, you know, not just. So, in case regarding the Prajnaparamita of single letter, I have the precise translation. There are many different translations of the sutra. I choose one, but there is, and then also in the book that I was talking, Necklace of Jewels, you know, you can find the quotation that I wrote on the left part of the painting that regarding the Dzogchen text. And you can find A Necklace of Jewels, the new published book by Shang Shung Publication. Tantra Manjusi Namasangiti quotation you can find in many translations in English, Berzin, Davidson, many authors, they already translated the complete Tantra. So it's easy to find the translation of the Manjusi Namasangiti, but it's easy to find also in Google or Wikipedia, the translation of the Sutra, the Prajnaparamita Sutra of a single letter A. And this text, the Dzogchen text, you can find in the book A Necklace of Jewels, published 2 months ago by in Arcidosso by the Shang Shung Publication. There is always possibility to deepen the knowledge of this calligraphy, just going back to the root texts. Also, the text of the Tara practice you can find in the book, on this book, you know, or any other book published by Shang Shung regarding the yoga of Arya Tara.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ciao Giorgio, sono Arvi.
Oh.
Molto auguri.
Ciao,
Grande, grande.
Harvey, the musician. Are you the musician?
Sì, sì.
Ciao, Harvey. Nice
Ciao,
to see
ciao.
you. Yes.
And your nepoti, sì, sì. Bella, bella.
Ciao, Harvey. Nice
Ciao, grazie mille.
Grazie a te.
Giorgio, there was a request to see your work one more time if we have time, but I would also just let everybody know that we have recorded this and we will make it available to everyone.
Yes, why not? Yes, yes, I agree. That's fine. That's fine, Mark. If you want, if you can bring me the print, I can show the print easily, the 3-1. So, so we conclude in this way. If you have just a few seconds, I will show all the prints quickly, so you can remember the work that are available now. You know.
You can also see all the
seconds. So I start. I start from, this is the print of bigger print, I think 17 for 21. No, I think
17 by 22.
17 by 22 inches. This is the sutra, the Prajnaparamita, the single letter. Okay, Fabio. Then this is the Tara with the 3 invocation and the three main mantras on Nepali paper. This is the quintessence of the Dzogchen teaching. Everything is in here of the Sangha of the Vajra with explanation, and A, Omahum, and Ahahasasama. And then the smaller one are those 2, right? Yeah. Okay. 1 sec. And this is the the tam letter tam between roses. And this is the 5 letters used in many meditation in the Tibetan Buddhism, Om, Aum, A, and Ham. I love particularly this stupa. I wrote Chögyal Namkhai Norbu Namo. I pay homage to Chögyal Namkhai Norbu. And near the stupa where his remains is the Manakaya is there. His remains are there. Merigar, well, Merigar West.
And Zoom doesn't do justice to the print quality.
Sorry about Okay, that's the first batch of production of this. Maybe in the future, it will also be possible, probably, to produce print of the Tara that I have donated to the Tsegyalgar in the future, you know, in case people want it and cannot afford to buy the original one. Okay, that's all for the moment. If I think we are near to the end, right? If you have any other question, otherwise we can end here. I thanks everybody, thank the staff who made it possible to create this event, and I thanks all the people that dedicated this hour to these works of the precious times that we have. And let's hope to meet again, to see again in another time, in another moment, maybe in better times, since there is a critical moment politically and also from the health, from the COVID problems and so on. So I thanks everybody for your attention, and I hope to see you again. Thanks.
Thank you, Giorgio. It's been wonderful.
Thank you very much, and see you soon, maybe.
Great.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you.
All of you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Delightful and
Beautiful.
charming.
Bye. Ciao a
Grazie.
tutti. Bye bye.
Ciao.
Grazie.
Ci vediamo. Che bello.
Thank you. 1 hour.